Hello everyone. So we thank God for giving us another chance to worship Him in spirit and in truth. So we also want to thank Him for all the blessings that He gave to us all through the week, and most especially for giving us a day to remember and to celebrate His goodness, His creative power, and all His enduring love and grace and mercy to all of us. So tonight I would like to speak about something that is always very important to us, and it's something that we always need to be reminded of, because like as we know, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So the Bible says that. So everything that's going on left and right, or yesterday, today, and what will happen tomorrow, of course everything is already been recorded in the record book. And so the study, the worship tonight will be about something that each and every one of us can think to hopefully increase our faith. Like each and every day we have to exercise our faith, and each trial that we surpass and another trial, then it's a way to increase our faith, to grow. So tonight I would like to start the verses that actually this story is, it's kind of familiar. It's very familiar actually to us, but we were going to compare these two verses to see if we can identify something that's unique or something that we have not heard in the past. We can just start here with John chapter 6 verses 5 to 13. So this is a memory of what Jesus did when He came to earth, and this is a very nice lesson for all of us, especially in our day-to-day living. When Jesus then lifted up His eyes and saw a great company come unto Him, He saith unto Philip, When shall we buy bread, that these may eat? And this He said to prove Him, for He Himself knew what He would do. Philip answered Him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of His disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, saith unto Him, There is a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many? And Jesus said, Make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place. So the men sat down, in number about 5,000. That's quite a lot. And Jesus took the loaves, and when He had given thanks, He distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were sat down, and likewise of the fishes as much as they would. When they were filled, He said unto His disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together, and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. This is one of the proofs that God cares for His people, and it's not just for His people. It's these other people who have yet to know Him. Those people who maybe are believing other gods, like you see the Buddhism, Hinduism. They worship other gods. They don't know. That's all the best light they have. That's all that they know. So here you can see a mixed multitude. You have the disciples, and you have the great company. So why were they there in the mountain? Because they wanted to hear. They wanted to hear the word. Well, of course, not everyone, as we know in the past or in the other records of the Bible, that not everyone came to listen to the word, but some also would like to have some other benefits. Yeah, apart from Jesus would heal the sick or whatever, cast out demons. So, but this time he was there to speak to them, and also the whatever, if somebody was sick, he would also heal them. So here, there's a lot of people, right? A great company. And then the first thing here that caught my attention is Jesus asked Philip, "Where will we buy bread so that these will eat?" Many people, 5,000 of them. And you would say, why would he ask Philip? Didn't he know the answer? Yes, he knew the answer, because God is all-knowing and Jesus is a God. So this was just to test Philip's faith. But of course, he would already know what Philip would say. So here you see that even if Jesus knows what you would do, he would still ask you. He would still inquire of you. He wanted to have a conversation with you. He wanted you to speak. He wanted you to say what you think, or how do you discern this certain thing. So in this setting, you see that the people are hungry, so that's a test of hunger. And it leads to the test of faith. So the issue of that particular scene is, what shall we give them to eat? Oh, it is the same as the situation with Moses when they were traveling towards Canaan from Egypt. When they left Egypt, there were so many people. That was more than 5,000. Like, what shall we have to eat? What shall we drink? So it's the same issue we can see here. But Jesus has a miracle working power, creative power, had solved the problem in an instant, right? So he just said, Philip, what will we do? So Philip, who was one of his disciples, in his human effort, in his human understanding, he said that 200 penny worth of bread is not enough for 5,000 people, and that every one of them may take a little, even just so 200 penny worth of bread would not even be enough to give each one a little piece. So that 200 would not even make them full. So you see the thinking, the mind of Philip is just little, just to be able to have something on the stomach. So that's something we have to remember. And then later on, we could see that imagination changed. But then Andrew, the brother of Peter, Simon Peter, said, there was a lad, a little boy, which had 5 barley loaves, like a loaf of bread, 5 of them, and 2 small fishes. So apparently there was a little boy who had the sense to bring food, but not for everyone, for himself. So among the crowd of people, it happened that Andrew, this brother of Simon Peter, he saw this little boy who had 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fishes. So he found a solution and said, well, there's a little boy, but he only had this much. And he said, but what are they among so many? Well, you have 5,000 people, but you only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fishes. How is that going to even feed everyone? So then again, you can see the human understanding of Philip and Andrew. They saw a solution to the problem, but still there was a problem on top of the solution that they saw. you can see how in the human understanding there is this matter that we can be of benefit, but impossible to have everyone benefit with this. Not even maybe 2 persons, or well, we don't know the size of the loaves of bread, but you say 1 loaf per person. Okay, that's only 5. So, but that's 5,000. So that's like 0.000 of what you need to feed. The percentage is too small. It's not gonna make it. It's not gonna work if with the human understanding, human perspective. So then, seeing that Andrew found this little boy with 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fishes, Jesus said, "Make the men just sit down." Okay. So here in this language, we can see how, okay, there's nothing to worry about, just sit down. There's no need to run around or try to figure something out. So you can see that human effort, then Jesus' effort came into the picture. Say, okay, you found this, okay, then everyone sit down, please. So there was like a nice grass there that they can just sit. So the men sat down. So this is a lesson for us, like in whatever situation we are in, let us not forget that if you walk with Jesus, if you follow Him, if He's there with you, and you have a very difficult situation, and you only found this solution to the problem, it doesn't matter what it is. If you find something and you just present it to Him, you'll find peace. He'll say, okay, sit down. Don't worry about it. Just sit down. So instead of just making a miracle, because you know what? Jesus would know that there was a boy there with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. He wouldn't need to ask Philip. It's a waste of time. Anyway, Philip wouldn't be able to solve the problem. But he did not just automatically say, okay, I'm gonna solve this for you. Then that's what? Like an easy ride, right? God has to speak to us. He's gonna say, okay, think. What do you want to do now? Then you present it to Him and say, okay, sit down, come down, and let's do this. So whatever you find that's very little, He's gonna work with it. And then now the miracle working power, you'll see. And Jesus took the loaves, so He took what Andrew found. And when He had given thanks, there's only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. He gave thanks to the Father. Father, thank you for the 5 loaves of fish, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes that would supply our needs for the moment to feed the 5,000, or however He worded it. But He gave thanks. Whatever little that they found, He gave thanks. He distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were sat down. And likewise of the fishes, as much as they would. So from Jesus to the disciples, He did not distribute it Himself. The disciples were still to help Him. And then by that, it's like the disciples first, they were the witness to that firsthand. Like, what? He continued to distribute. There were only 5 bread, and then what is this? Two fishes. 5 loaves of bread, 2 fishes, and then they continued. And then they distribute as much as they would. Remember, 200 worth of bread is not going to be enough to give them little. That's what Philip thought. But Jesus would what? He would increase it, and He showed to them, I can take care of this. Whatever you have, I'll take. It's not free handout. Jesus did not find the lad. Well, if He can, like I said, He can do it. but he waited for them. He gave them the chance to do something. Human effort. So everybody had, they were filled. Yes, when they were filled, remember, even to give them a little, it's not gonna be enough, but that's what Philip thought. But with Jesus, everyone were filled. And then after they were filled, he said, gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Can you see something very nice here? After they were filled, they had to gather the leftover. So in Philip's thoughts, what? It's not gonna be enough to even give them little. It's not gonna fill them up. But with Jesus, little is much. It says, gather up the fragments that remain. How would that be possible? 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes to feed 5,000, and there would be fragments that remain. And Jesus said that nothing be lost. He didn't want to waste it. Well, you know what? It's like, just throw it. No. Whatever you have, when God increases it, don't waste it. Say, it's okay, God will bless me. I have so much, I'm just gonna waste them. No. Whatever you have, when God blesses that, and you have left over, we have to gather them, keep them, and save so that nothing be lost. And here's the nice thing here. Therefore, they gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. So they were able to gather leftover of how many baskets? 12. That's also another symbol, right? 12 disciples. Apart from they were filled, they were able to gather leftover. And of course, we can see that, well, the leftover, they would eat it maybe the next meal or the next day, who knows. But it's not to be, it was not meant to be gathered and then thrown in the trash. No, it doesn't make sense. It would not make sense. So then, if you go to verse 14, there were those men that saw the miracle of what Jesus did, and some were convicted that, you know, like, okay, it was prophesied. Those who heard of the studies that, like in the prophecy, that the prophet would come. So here we can see that however little we have, if we give it to the Lord, He's gonna bless it. Sometimes we feel like, I have nothing, or it's not gonna be enough, or how am I gonna survive? You know, like these worries, these thoughts that, will I be, well, we always, we are always provided, right? But in this story, we can see that if we walk with God, if we follow His footsteps the best we can, of course, sometimes we fall. We walk down that narrow road, we fall. What did He say? Get back up. Like the disciples. Look at the thoughts of Philip. That 200. Well, who would give him 200? He didn't even say that, why don't we just collect some money and give to buy more to feed this? No, he didn't. He said, 200 is not gonna be enough. And we can see that he tried his best. He tried what he thought was something to solve the situation. And also we can see that in the part of Philip, in his human efforts, he did not assume zero responsibility, like saying, oh, Jesus will just take care of it. Let the Master take care of it. We've seen so much. He can do this. He can heal the blind. He can do anything. why can't he feed 5,000? He was not assuming, and he did not relieve himself. He also put in his human thoughts to the best that he can. Just like us, in every situation, when you follow God, you just don't say, I'm not gonna do anything, let him solve the problem. No, we have to do something. Just like he said, if he fed the sparrow in the air, whatever, the sparrow, or take care of the grasses in the field, how much more will he take care of us? Then you'll say, I'm just gonna sit down and relax and not do anything. No, we have to do some. Like I said, let us remember, little, for us it's little, but it's gonna be much when God is there. If by ourselves, oh no, this is gonna be impossible. You have a situation, oh, it's impossible to solve this problem. Yes, with our human understanding, with our tiny understanding of things. Like, you have half of the solution, or even 1/10 of the solution, but God has the 100% of the solution. And even knowing that he has the solution to our difficulties, our trials and tests, we should not just sit and just do nothing, because we have faith. I believe in him, he's gonna do it for me. Yeah, but with the faith, we need to have works, or our efforts. So it's a partnership. So with what little we have, let us not worry about it, because he can increase it any way, shape, or form, because he is all powerful. But provided we should walk with him. It's not gonna happen if we're just gonna do our own way. I'm gonna do this, I'm smart enough to figure this out, I can do this, I did this many years ago, many times, my whole life. Well, if God is not gonna bless it, it doesn't matter how many times you did it yourself. If he's not gonna bless it, it's not gonna be blessed. But whatever little we have, even if you think it's not enough, when he's there, walking with you, sitting with you, he's there. What little we have is going to increase you. So I hope that you learned something this Sabbath evening, remembering of the power of God, that he can always change things. Even if the worst thing in the world is like changing a person's life, he can do it with whatever situation, temporal, physical, spiritual, emotional, because he is all powerful and he can change situations. It can happen to you, it can happen to me. It happened to us many times. You can testify about it. And let us not forget the cooperation between heaven and earth, Jesus and his people. And let us continue to walk that narrow road, worrying about nothing. Well, we try to, at least. Yeah, but we're still human beings. We always have some things to work on with our inherited traits or whatever characteristics that we have, and we're still fighting. So I leave it tonight with that, remembering that when you walk with Jesus, your little is much. God bless, and have a blessed and great Sabbath evening and a Sabbath day tomorrow. Bye.